we are down here at Stubb Cycles in Southeast Houston to do some rides of Suzuki's. Most specifically, I want to ride the 800DE. Now that I have an Ibex 450, I want to see if that extra 100 pounds and the extra price is worth it. We've got a 776cc parallel twin with electronic quick shifter. We've got a 21-inch spoked wheel tubed and a 17-inch rear wheel. It does come with a back rack and grab bars. There are mounting points for luggage, which you can get aftermarket from Suzuki or other manufacturers. You do have anti-lock brakes on the front and rear. You do have a skid plate. It is a plastic skid plate, but it's there. And I gotta say, Suzuki's quick shifters are some of the finest I've ridden. Curious to see how it feels on an adventure bike. On the left side of the dash, you do have an accessory port for USB. You have a slightly adjustable windscreen. There are two different mounting points. It's not an easy quick adjust. You have to take the bolts out, put the bolts back in. In addition to the quick shifter, there's a slipper clutch on this too. That is a really cool combination. There is a remote adjust for the rear preload. In the event that you've got a load on the back, bags or a passenger, you can just increase that preload very easily from there. The 2025 Suzuki 800DE. It's very interesting being on this. I'm so used to my full fairing. Like, this obviously has bodywork and fairing, but it doesn't feel as big as my Ibex. It's very low down. I'm used to my screens being higher up, but I do really like that gauge. That's so crisp and easy to read. There is a very early engagement point of that clutch. Look at my hand. There's so little throw before it actually engages. That's tight, but in a good way. So I rode this bike 2 years ago, but that was before I had my own adventure bike. I was reviewing it from the perspective of a Versys 650 owner, not necessarily a full-on ADV guy. Now that I've got more dirt miles under my belt and I've got experience on the Ibex and others, I feel like this will be a better review of it because I felt like I had more of a street-oriented view. It's tall. I gotta say, it is tall. I am 6 feet tall. I've got a 32-inch inseam. I can almost flat-foot it. I feel like somebody getting on this for the first time is probably going to stall it a few times because of how sensitive that clutch is. And that's okay. You'll figure it out. Every bike's different. So I mentioned this bike does have a quick shifter. Now, quick shifters do typically work better in higher RPMs, just so you're aware. If you're testing it and you're like, wait, it feels clunky, it's probably because you're in too low of an RPM. And it is a bi-directional quick shifter too, which means you can go up and down with it. And couple that with the slipper clutch, man, this transmission's got to be like butter. Obviously, I can't do an off-road review of this. This is just a street demo ride, but I recently reviewed the Himalayan 450 and I said that when I got on it, I felt like it was a street bike that could go off-road. Not necessarily like I'd get on a bike and I go, oh man, let's take this to the trails. I get on this bike and I want to take it on the trails. I want to go run through the Sam Houston National Forest on the access roads. I feel like this could do single track, but it's heavy. This bike is about 500 pounds wet, which means it is about 100 pounds heavier than my Ibex. This is actually heavier than the Tenere 700 even. I do like the riding position. I'm sitting fairly upright. I feel like I'm on top of the bike, not in the bike. Now, being as this has a very low front fairing, you are gonna feel some buffeting. We're gonna jump on the highway in a little bit. I'm curious to know how this feels at highway speeds. But there's not really a whole lot to block the wind up there. There is obviously that little windscreen, and it's in its middle position right now of 3. So we're going super slow because we're behind a very large truck, and on top of that, we lost the back half of our group, so our lead rider is waiting for the other folks to join. That's one of the downsides of doing these demo rides, is you're kind of at the mercy of the group. You can't set your own pace or try your own roads, so hopefully it's still a good enough review for you guys if you're considering this bike. I sure would like to go more than 25 miles an hour though. That would be nice. So this road is very much like many Houston roads where you've got potholes, you've got lines, you've got all kinds of rough terrain. So it's a decent test for suspension on street ride. I can say it's comfortable. It's not jarring me too much. I haven't adjusted the suspension, but as I mentioned before, there is an adjustable front and rear suspension on this bike, which is pretty cool. So one of the things I said 2 years ago is that this bike, it wasn't something that made me want to switch from my Versys 650. Now the Ibex 450 did make me want to switch because I jumped on it. I was like, yes, I could do more trails on this than I can the Versys. I feel like now, looking at this, because one of the biggest detriments to the Ibex is that it's not a very big motor. It doesn't go very fast. I mean, I'm making the engine scream if I'm going 80 miles per hour. So having a bigger displacement engine would be better for that. So now I'm looking at it going, should I go bigger than the Ibex? And there's a lot of really nice features on this bike. I sure wish I could take it off-road though, man. Let's see how it feels when standing. There's a nice wide spot on the seat for me to grab. That's pretty sweet. See, I want to go ride in that field. Jump over those logs. Yeah, this is nice while standing. I could do this. At 6 feet tall, I could use the bars being a little bit higher. My Ibex is the same way. Could raise the bars just a hair. But as far as grabbing the tank, it feels good. Like I feel planted running through the woods. Mirrors are decent. There's not much buzz. The motor itself feels really smooth. Like I feel some vibrations in my feet, but nothing that is to be unexpected for a motorcycle. The bars themselves are in a good spot. I like the ergonomics of the bike. The seat's fairly comfortable. The tank is kind of scooped out right here from my knees. That's nice. I will say I don't love the clutch lever. I'm somebody who likes to just run a couple fingers of my clutch lever. And this one, the way it's bent when you pull it in, it actually touches the bar on all sides. So unless your fingers are above the bar, you can't do a 2 or a 3 finger pull. It just kind of squishes your fingers. All right, we're about to test the acceleration and highway speed. Let's see how it does. Remember, parallel twin, just under 800 cc's. It should have a good bit of torque to it. I forget the exact horsepower number, I'll put it up, but it's between 80 and 90, I believe. Which means it's double the power of the Ibex, which makes sense because it's, you know, 50% larger engine. All right, there we go. Let's do this. Oh, it's got good pull. It gets a bit buzzy at higher RPMs. I'm at about 5,500 RPM, and I can feel the engine in my feet pretty well. I don't think it's intolerable though. I could ride like this. The wind buffeting actually isn't bad at 62 miles per hour. Like it's comfortable. It's not bouncing me around too much. Like I can handle that. I think it would probably get a bit more aggressive when you're doing like 80 plus miles per hour, but it's definitely, it's a comfortable bike. I feel like this could be a good true dual purpose bike where you can do long distance riding on it. You could do touring and go off-road at the same time. I think this is a good camping bike. So the Sam Houston National Forest is about an hour's ride for me. So I can't do something like an enduro like the DRZ 4S. That just won't work for me because it's too far of a ride to comfortably do and then run the woods. So I feel like this would be a good thing. I can get to the woods comfortably in good time because I can go at the speeds that I need to go. And then beyond that, once I get to the trails, I feel like this is capable. I saw a post the other day about the Ibex. Somebody said, how can you practice wheeling in a 450? And a lot of the comments back were like, it is not a great wheelie bike. It just doesn't have the power to do that. I think this does. This does have that power. I like it. I like it. I feel like this actually might be a good upgrade to a beginner ADV bike like the KTM 390 or the Ibex 450. If you're looking for something that packs a bit more punch but still want to do some off-road, sure. But at 500 pounds, how would you feel about muscling this through some single track trails? Would you want to do it? Would you want to pick it up if you dropped it in some sand? There's a lot of guys that say that's too heavy. I think I would try it. I would definitely try it. I gotta say though, coming off that bike, looking at the price of it at 11.8, I don't know, I think I might rather go with the Tenere 700 at that point. You've got a lot more off-road capability. You've still got that extra speed and the punch over the 450, but it's about, I don't know, $2,000 cheaper. You can find a 2024 Tenere 700 for under 10 grand right now. So I think I'd lean that route. How about you? What are your thoughts? Maybe look at the used market, check on Facebook Marketplace, see if I can pick one up for a decent price used. Not sure what their resale value is looking like, but I did really like it. I just don't know if 12 grand is what I would want to spend for it, plus taxes, fees, and all that stuff. I do a whole bunch of other types of motorcycle reviews. If you like this kind of stuff, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.